What's good, everybody? In my video today, we're talking about graphing quadratics in standard form and vertex form. If you find this video helpful, smash the like button for us. So before we start off with vertex form, guys, we need to know the original graphs. Y is equal to x squared is going to be a U-shaped graph that is going up or opening up. And then y is equal to negative x squared is going to be opening down. And just understand that when the graph opens down, we're going to have a maximum. And when it opens up, we're going to have a minimum value. Okay. So back to vertex form, we need to know that the first point that we plot is always going to be the vertex. And the vertex is going to be HK, whatever numbers those are. But there's a special trick to it. And I'm going to tell you guys that right now. So they want us to graph y is equal to x minus 2 squared plus 3. Now, whatever number this is, guys, it's always going to be the opposite of that. Why? Because when we set it equal to 0, right, x minus 2 is equal to 0 as an example. When we solve, x is going to be equal to 2. So this is why I say it's going to be the opposite of whatever the sign is. If this was x plus 2, once we solve, we'll get x is equal to negative 2, all right? And please don't confuse that with the outside number. That rule does not apply. If it says plus 3, it's positive. If it says minus 3, it's negative. So my vertex in this problem would be positive 2, positive 3. That's the first point we're going to plot, which should be somewhere right here. Now, we know that for graphing quadratics, right, we at least need 3 points. So how are we going to get the other points? The way we're going to get that is substituting numbers in. So when I look here, the axis of symmetry, x is equal to 2. So I could plot when x is equal to 1 or when x is equal to 3. Just know that they're going to have the same y values. So let's go through now and let's plot this. So y is equal to 1 minus 2 squared plus 3. And what we're going to get is this right here. So guys, don't forget that this answer, it's an ordered pair. X was 1, y is going to be positive 4. So when we go through now, our next point is going to be at 1, 4. And just remember that there's another point that matches it on the opposite side of the axis of symmetry, which would be 3, 4, right? And right here, we have 3 points and we could make a graph. If we wanted to, we could go to when x is 0 and x is 4, but we don't need that many points. So when working in vertex form, guys, just remember the vertex is always going to be HK, and H is always the opposite sign of whatever it is inside the parentheses. Let's switch over now to the standard form. When we talk about standard form now, guys, there's a different equation. Y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. Know you guys have seen that equation before. So just remember that when we label these, right, c is 3, negative 3, b is 2, and we don't have a number in front of x squared. So just remember that it's going to be 1. And the way that we find a vertex to plot that first point is going to be the opposite of b over 2a. That's to get the x. I'm sorry. So when we're trying to find the x for the axis of symmetry, this is what we're going to do. So when we plug this in now, we have the opposite of 2 divided by 2 times 1. So we're going to get x is equal to negative 1. So guys, just remember that's only the x coordinate for the vertex. To figure out what the y is, we now have to plug in 1 for x and solve. And once we do, we're going to get y is equal to 1 minus 2 minus 3. So we're going to get y is equal to negative 4. Now when we combine these two answers together, our vertex should be at the point negative 1, negative 4. That's the first point that we're going to plot, which will be right about here. Now, after we plot that point, guys, similar to vertex form, we're going to go back and we're going to try to identify 2 more points. So I'm going to plug in 0 for my function right now, and then we're also going to get another point. So this is what I mean. So y is equal to 0 squared plus 2 times 0 minus 3. So we know y is equal to negative 3. So our second point will be 0, negative 3, right? So we go to 0, negative 3. And remember, guys, with quadratics, right, each x is going to have two different answers. So we moved one place over to the right. Now we need to move one place over to the left. And we know that this is going to be our other coordinate, right, that matches it. So negative 2, negative 3. And if you see, they both are one one distance away from the x, and they both share the same y coordinate. So we know that we're going to be correct with this. Now we have 3 points, and we could go ahead and draw our U through those 3 points. Just remember, it's a rough sketch. We just want to make sure that we have the right coordinates. But before we wrap this video up, we're going to touch on transformations. Make sure you stick around to the end. Let's get it. In this part of the video, guys, we're going over two multiple choice questions on transformations. Our first one, they gave us the original graph, and they want us to know or pick the answer choice that will correctly get us to this quadratic here, right? Y is equal to x minus 3 squared minus 2. So remember, when we talk about transformations, right, they gave us in the form of f of x minus k, f of x plus k, right? And remember that when we have k inside the parentheses, this means that we're shifting the graph left or to right, and it's going to be the opposite. So this is what I mean. If we have f of x minus 3, right? When I said x minus 3 equal to 0, that means x is going to be equal to 3. I'm going to have to shift this graph right k units. Now, if it's k, if it's f of x plus k is positive, that means I'm going to shift the graph to the left a certain amount of units. So that's number one. Number two, just remember, guys, that if k is outside the parentheses, right, then that means it's going to be a vertical shift, meaning up or down. So if it's plus k, I'm going up. If it's minus k, I'm going down. Now, based off that information, right, x minus 3, I know it's the opposite. So we're going to get x is equal to positive 3, meaning I would have to go to the right 3 units. So that means, and let's switch colors so this sticks out. That means A is gone because this is to the left. Let's see, D is gone because that's to the left. Now I look at the second part, and I know that if k is outside, if there's a number outside the parentheses, that means I'm going either up or down. And they want you to confuse this with the horizontal shift. These two rules the rules don't apply the same way. If it's minus 2, that means we're going down. If it's plus 2, that means we're going up. So in this problem, because it's minus 2, that means we're going down, and our answer is going to be C. So if we're thinking about this in another way where it wasn't multiple choice and it's just transformations, remember that we moved to the right 3, 1, 2, 3, and then down 2. So my new vertex would be 3 comma negative 2. And this is just another way we could solve this by using transformations. Let's go over to problem number 2. On to the last problem of the day, guys. And if you like this video, smash the like button for us. It really helps us to get this video out to more students. So now they're asking us, what is the vertex? And they give us y is equal to negative or the opposite of x minus 2 squared. But I noticed that there isn't a plus or minus anything out here. So how does that change the problem? And I'm going to tell you guys. So basically, right, when we look at this graph here, all it's telling us to do is shift or transform it 2 places to the right? And this negative sign is only letting us know that the graph is going to open down. So when we look at this problem right here, guys, if you could not use transformations and just slide it over 2 to the right, just remember that if there's no plus or minus any number out here, the value is 0. That is always going to be a trick. So when we look at our answer choice, A is not right. B is not right. And when we look down here, this is the this is the this is the challenging part. But just remember, guys, that it's the opposite of what's inside of parentheses. So if it's -2, that means our answer is going to be +2 when we set it equal to 0 and solve for x. Hopefully this was a helpful video for you guys. If it was, subscribe to our channel, smash the like button for us, and leave any comments for future videos you guys would like to see. Thank you guys so much for joining me today on Algebra 1 with Mr. Peters.